Scientists discover a signal from 8 billion light years away. The Horned Comet is barreling towards us, and the Orionids meteor shower, all up next on this episode of Astronomy and Coffee. Happy Monday to you all as we all settle into this busy workday. But before we begin our workday, let's settle in a bit and go over some astronomy and some news that is going on up there in the sky. Well, astronomers have discovered the most distant fast radio burst ever recorded, having traveled 8 billion years to arrive at Earth. What does this mean? Well, if they can find more bursts like this, they could pin down the missing mass thought to reside between galaxies. Now, you might think that a fast radio burst is something like a commercial break on your favorite local radio station, but in cosmic terms, a fast radio burst is really a sudden and rapid release of radio waves which last less than a millisecond. So such events can release the same amount of energy as the sun does over decades. So quite a huge burst, if I can say so myself. What causes these fast radio bursts? Well, it is unclear. One theory is that they come from highly magnetized neutron stars called magnetars, which is also a really sweet Transformers faction name, like the Autobots, the Decepticons, the magnetars. Also be a great band name, which I just called. It's mine. These fast radio bursts and their discovery will continue to aid scientists on uncovering the structure of the universe and what type of matter resides and hides between these galaxies. Well, the Devil Comet is on its way to us, or the Horned Comet. Should we be worried about it? Well, let's go over what this Horned Comet is. You ever heard of this Devil's Comet heading towards Earth that is the size of Mount Everest? Well, first off, the actual name of the Devil Comet, as we head into Halloween here, the actual name is Comet 12P Pons Brooks, which we have covered before in the past. But we've known this comet, we've known about it since 1812. Now, current estimates size it up to be around 10.5 miles across, which is actually, it is actually larger than Everest, but this might be an overestimate. Now, for some context here, Halley's Comet is about 9.3 miles across. So, why is it called the Devil's Comet? Well, in late July, the comet had a bit of an outburst where it blew off a bunch of gas and dust. Now, this is random, but it's not uncommon for comets to do. However, for this comet, the outburst caused the comet to distort into a horseshoe pattern, so it appears to have horns. Now, this is also called the Millennium Falcon Comet, I guess, from certain people, because it looks more like the Millennium Falcon, the way it has this sort of U shape to it. But since it's Halloween, let's just call it the Devil's Comet, or the Horned Comet. Now, is it a danger to us? Now, even though this comet is heading our way, it doesn't really pose a threat to us. It'll get about 0.8 astronomical units away from us, but then again, Venus is 0.7 astronomical units away from us. And also, it is traveling in this orbit that doesn't really coincide with the flat plane, the sort of flat plane that the other planets orbit the sun in. So as we rotate around the sun, as we revolve around the sun, we tend to follow this flat plane path, but this comet that comes in will come in at a different angle to us. So, not really posing a threat, not to worry about this particular comet, but you will be able to see this quite possibly during next year's total solar eclipse. It might be visible to us as that eclipse is happening. So we might catch a total solar eclipse and a comet at the same time. Get your cameras ready for that. Well, last night was the peak of the Orionids. Was it last night? Well, it was the 21st and the 22nd. That was the peak time of the Orionids. But you can still catch the Orionids. It doesn't just happen over 2 nights. It happens over a period of time. So you can still catch some of the Orionids meteor shower. So we're currently in the season that has some of the best meteor showers. The Orionids, for example, is one of them. Now, the peak of this time, it was the 21st and the 22nd, but you can still see these Orionids over the next several days. On a clear, dark night, you'll be able to catch between 10 to 20 meteors per hour. And as the name suggests, all you have to do is find the constellation of Orion, look towards the club that it has in its hand, let your eyes get dark adapted, find a nice cloudless area, wait for it to be nice and dark, concentrate your eyes to the club of Orion, and in time you will see a few shooting stars, or meteoroids, as they shoot across the sky. Now, what you're seeing is the result from debris left behind by Halley's Comet. Every 76 years, the comet returns, and the heat from the sun vaporizes some of the comet's dirty ice, releasing fluffy dust. Now, much of this falls back to coat the comet's surface, but some of the particles escape to join the Flotsam and Jetsam, another great band name, as it is distributed around the Halley's Comet's orbit. Now, when Earth crosses the path of this comet's orbital path, we pass through this cometary, is that a word? The cometary debris. Now, when this debris crashes through Earth's atmosphere, it burns up and becomes meteoroids. So many people think that the friction between the speeding meteoroid and the air is what produces the fireball that we see, but actually what we're seeing is the result of something called ram pressure. Basically, the meteoroid is traveling so fast that the air in front of this meteoroid doesn't have time to move out of the way. This compresses the air and therefore heats it up. The surface of these speeding meteoroids can get up to 3,000 degrees Fahrenheit. This heating also causes rapid ionization of meteoric and neighboring atmospheric molecules. So that is why we see those fireball streaks in the sky. So yes, you can still go out and see the Orionids meteor shower for yourself. And also this weekend, we're going to have the annual Halloween Day at the museum here at LASM, one of my favorite days here at the museum. We have the Harry Potter show, which everyone loves to come see. The Astronomical World of Harry Potter, which is presented by me. And I will also be giving away a monster book of monsters, I think is what it's called, a plush monster book of monsters as a raffle to anyone who has their ticket for the show. Before that show, we're going to do the Worlds Within Star Wars. It is not an official Star Wars show. It is a planetarium show that examines the fictional worlds of Star Wars and then examines the possible real-world counterparts. At 4 o'clock is the FIFA parade. If you're not into parades, you can always go to see our Fright Light laser show. From 12 to 5, we will have hands-on activities. We will be making things like making your own monster bookmarks. We can make our own wands, which we will use in the planetarium during the Harry Potter show to produce some planetarium magic. We'll be creating our own craters, and to kind of show how craters are made, we'll be making these Star Wars straw rockets. And what else have we got going on here? You must book more straw rockets, goldenrod secret messages, and chromatography at 2 different stations in the universe and solar system galleries. Fun day. Bring your kids. Dress up. Also, we will have a leaky cauldron bar, no alcohol, but we will have butterbeer, giving out butterbeer for free, and some jelly bean tasting events. So, lots going on here. Come on down, 12 to 5 on October 28th at the Louisiana Art and Science Museum for a Halloween day at the museum. Hope to see you there, and I'll see you next week for another Astronomy and Coffee.